The mountains are calling and I must go. Getting into Mammoth just meant that we had accomplished 2/3 of the Sierra section. There were still 100 miles of passes, river crossings, and steep slopes waiting for us. Compared to the first part, most of the trail was in lower elevation. But with the lower elevation, you get higher temperatures and the snow starts melting. Leaving Mammoth, we didn't know that the way going to Sonora Pass will be more challenging and dangerous than coming from Kennedy Meadows. Since everyone always just talks about Forester Pass and Bear Creek, we expected some easy days. The countless number of mosquitoes was just a minor problem. With the higher temperature, the snow didn't freeze anymore and solid steps became very slippery. That was not a big problem for crossing the passes because they were just like rolling hills. The real danger came with the slopes in lower elevation. With the snowed-in switchbacks, we had to deal with really steep traverses. One wrong step and we would slide with full speed against the next tree or rock. But the most dangerous situation was still waiting for us. Luckily, I got a new pair of microspikes in Mammoth Lakes. When you go to the Sierra, your choice of equipment will decide about life and death. But what is the right equipment? You could ask outfitters, but honestly, they just want to sell you stuff, and conditions always vary. What was good 1 week ago could be completely useless in your situation. We saw too many people carrying snowshoes walking between snow cups. The best way is asking some fellow hikers who just completed some sections of the Sierra. And when you get your equipment, make sure that you get it in the right sizes. Figure out the right length of your ice axe and make sure that you have tight-fitting microspikes. And most important, use your equipment. You're carrying it anyways. Several people slid down somewhere, hurt themselves because they were too lazy to put on their microspikes. And I'm just the same. Too many times I told myself to just wait for the next snow pad. And there were several snow pads after that where I continued walking. But honestly, I would be way slower and it makes sense to just stop for a minute. But it's not about the pace. The main reason should be security. Without microspikes, we would have never survived the slope at Carrick Creek. One wrong step and we would have slid into the rushing river. It felt like balancing on a rope. For the first 100 yards, we had to kick in our own steps in the slippery snow. Just half a mile took us 1 hour. I couldn't think of any other situation in my life where I used more concentration. Compared to the slopes, the river crossings were fairly easy. Many times you would find bridges and we also became experts in balancing on logs. When you get to a creek, just take some minutes, walk up and downstream, maybe look up your gut hook comments. In most cases, you will find a log. You don't have to go swimming. But there was still a big river crossing waiting for us. Fording Falls Creek, I kind of got an idea what John Moore meant by the rivers flow not past but through us, thrilling, tingling, vibrating every fiber and cell of the substance of our bodies, making them glide and sing. It took us 6 days to go all the way from Mammoth to Sonora Pass, and we were more than exhausted when we got there. All the sun caps, snow pads, and flooded areas made moving very difficult. We would make between 16 to 23 miles a day, and that is starting at 6 in the morning and going all day until 8 p.m. Luckily, we had enough food in our backpacks to make it all the way to Sonora Pass. But we not only completed the Sierra section, we also made it to 1,000 miles. Woohoo! 1,000 miles. That's quite a bit, but not even half of it. After the 1,000-mile marker, the scenery changed dramatically. We got out of the forest with all the river crossings and were walking along majestic mountain ranges. It definitely felt like John was saying the clearest way into the universe is through a forest wilderness. This section of the PCT taught us a lot. There's a reason why there are so many switchbacks and the trail makes big curves around areas. One time there was so much snow that we wanted to use a shortcut but found ourselves on a big cliff. There were some boulders, so we had the option to climb down, but it took us a long time. It was adventurous but not too much fun. So always try to stay on trail. Another day, Guthook got us on the wrong way. Following the icons provided by the app, we ended up walking on the wrong side of the creek. And you couldn't call that walking. We had to go around bushes, climb over trees, jump from stone to stone, cross mushy areas. It took a long time. So do yourself a favor and use topo maps with indicated trails. It was a long and very hard journey crossing the Sierra. But we are really happy that we didn't skip it or flipped up north. I wish everyone a safe and good hike. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I really appreciate all the encouraging comments. If you want to watch the next video and find out how the PCT is killing my body, just hit the subscribe button. You can also find me on Instagram, just use the same name, Britta_Borderless. Happy trails!